Welcome to the Stormsurf video surf forecast for the Indian Ocean for the week starting Sunday, March 16th. Brought to you by Kandui Resort in the Mentawai Islands, an excellent surf destination. First, we'll take a look at significant wave heights for the Indian Ocean. See, there is a gale, previously a storm, with 34-foot seas, but it's under Western Australia, pretty much out of the swell window for the Mentawai Islands. Good for Southern Australia, though. Otherwise, there is a fairly calm pattern, a bit of a low or something trying to get organized under South Africa, 20-foot seas, but in all, not a particularly strong swell pattern at the moment. First stop on our tour, let's take a look at the jet stream. The jet stream is what is responsible for helping to fuel storm development down at the ocean surface. These are winds at the jet stream level, of course, 30,000 feet or above, 250 millibar level. For Sunday, we have basically a zonal flow going flat west-east. There's no real troughs or anything here suggestive of being supportive of storm development, and wind speeds are really quite rather light, not even barely 100 knots, except in little pockets here and there. Let's put this into motion. As we have it roll out, we see here comes a bit of a trough starting to develop here. That is air pushing towards the equator in the southern hemisphere, and winds in the 120, 130 knot range. This is on Monday night, but that trough quickly fades, and the wind energy, if anything, turns into a ridge, starts pushing towards Antarctica. Another bit of a trough tries to get going under South Africa on Wednesday or so. And this one looks a little bit better. We have 150, 160 knot winds feeding into the trough, so that's good news. But as it rolls out, it too sort of flattens out and starts falling south. And yet another trough, but it's already pinched off by Saturday before it gets into the Indian Ocean. It too sort of flattens out, and that's it. So the pattern here is suggestive of maybe high pressure at the surface and a zonal pattern, not a strong supporter for storm development early here in the winter season in the Indian Ocean. Next, we take a look at further down in the atmosphere at surface level winds. These winds are what produce storm or waves, fetch, and then surface level pressure too. That sort of gives us some indication of what's going on and whether wind production is possible. As of Sunday, high pressure set up off Western Australia, not particularly strong, 1024 millibars. Another weaker one, 1016 millibars, but kind of indicative of what we saw at the jet stream of the zonal flow. 1, 2, 3 systems tracking west to east, but no real particular winds in this middle one. This one's already out of the picture under Western Australia, and the next one coming under South Africa, but notice the fetch is actually pushing south rather than north up towards the Mentawais or into Western Australia. Now, a little bit of fetch there. You know, notice how these are the great circle paths. This is the path that a swell would travel moving into this location. So actually, believe it or not, the southwest winds here, or northwest winds, actually would be pushing somewhat up to Western Australia. Regardless, put this into motion, see what plays out. That fetch quickly dies out. That one stays weak. We're into Monday. Here comes a little bit more, but again, 30, 35 knot, that's not particularly strong. You want 40 or 45 knot winds at least. But a good size fetch area there, 35 knots. Let's just see how that towards Mentawai Islands, that's like 220 degrees. So maybe that is good for some 13-second period swell, but it'd be pretty well decayed by the time it gets there. That's a long travel distance. Put this into motion some more. We're into Thursday. Notice strong high pressure. Here's the name of the game. This is what's going on. It's basically shunting everything to the south, almost towards Antarctica. Continue on into Friday, high pressure, and there's yet another high pressure starting to set up, and really no real fit. Look at this 30 knot winds pushing into Antarctica. Not, you want it pushing up towards these land masses. and you continue to go out. This high pressure again, 10 up to 1028 millibars. A little bit of fetch trying to get going here and by next Sunday, but not really. And there you go. Now it's looking a little bit better by a week out. So that's a start. Let's see what effect these winds have on the ocean surface in terms of swell production. So here's significant wave height charts. As we mentioned before, 34-foot seas under Western Australia. Pretty calm pattern otherwise. Some 20-foot seas under Southern Africa. And put this into motion. Looking for, there you go. We're looking for 30-foot seas. We see something starting to develop under Africa. 26-foot seas, 20, 22, 24, 26-foot seas, aimed pretty well up towards the Mentawai Islands. That's nice, 225 degree roughly, covering a good area. So that's good for some 15-second period swell or so. Actually, and even more when it was back here in the 30 to 32-foot range, but a long ways away. So that swell will be pretty decayed by the time it gets to the Mentawais. Put this into motion. We're into Thursday of this week already, and notice the effects of high pressure here. It's basically kind of just making a brick wall, making it hard for anything to penetrate it. Now we don't really see a whole lot. We're 180 hours out. Another small system here under South Africa, 26-foot seas, and another one, 22-foot seas. Good for small impulse class swell, maybe a little bit more, pushing up into the main catcher's mitt for swell in the Indian Ocean. So in general, high pressure appears to be dominating. Some small systems, some hope for early season swell, but nothing large or massive yet. But you wouldn't expect it for this time of year either. So a reasonable start, trying to get going here. It's a bit early in the season. So that's about it. We'll do this again next week, same time, same channel. Thank you for watching. This has been the Stormsurf Videos Surf Forecast for the Indian Ocean. Brought to you by Kandui Resort in the Mentawai Islands. Great place to go surfing.